I used to sit in the stylist chair and just say whatever you think, and I hated the results every single time. Nobody ever told me that's the exact sentence that gets you a haircut that ages you. Tonight I'm giving you 3 haircuts that genuinely shave years off how you're read at a glance, and 3 that are quietly doing the opposite no matter how put together you think they look. I researched the worst style and beauty mistakes and the best fixes for women over 50, so you get real results fast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every week. Part 1. The 2 cuts that take years off instantly. Here's something most women never hear from their stylist directly. Length is not what ages you. Density is. A woman with shoulder-length hair and real, visible layering will read younger in a photo than a woman with hair down to her waist that's just hanging there flat, with no movement in it at all. I didn't believe this either until I saw 2 before and afters side by side of the same woman, same face, same age. The only difference was where the layers started. The first cut that does this beautifully is the layered lob, a lived-in bob that hits somewhere between the chin and the collarbone, with internal layering built starting around the cheekbone. That internal layering is the part people skip. You can ask for a bob and still walk out looking flat if the stylist only shapes the outer edge. What you actually want to say in the chair is, point cut the interior, not just the perimeter. That phrase does the work. Point cutting removes weight from inside the shape instead of just trimming the ends, so the hair moves instead of sitting like a helmet. What changes when you get this right is immediate, and it's not subtle. The face looks lifted rather than pulled down by the weight of the hair. Softness appears right along the jawline, because the layers are catching light and moving instead of forming one flat block. Women tell me they get asked if they've done something with their skin. They haven't touched their skin at all. It's the hair pulling attention up and outward instead of dragging everything down and heavy. The second cut in this pair is the shag. And I know the word alone makes some of you nervous, picturing something choppy and young. This isn't that. A modern shag for a woman over 60 is built with soft, feathered layering through the crown and sides, with the ends left slightly textured rather than blunt. In the chair, the phrase that gets this right is feathered layers through the crown, textured, not blunt, ends. Blunt ends are the enemy here because they create hard lines, and hard lines are aging on a mature face. Texture breaks up the line and softens everything around it. The result with a well-cut shag is volume exactly where you need it. At the crown, where hair naturally thins with age, without adding a single extra product to your routine. It's built into the cut itself. That's the part one love about this one. You're not fighting your hair every morning with a round brush and 20 minutes you don't have. The shape does the lifting for you before you've even picked up a dryer. Here's the before and after that makes this click. Picture the exact same woman. On one side, flat, single-length hair past the shoulders with zero internal movement, looking heavier and older than she needs to. On the other side, that same woman with a layered lob or a soft shag, face visibly lifted, hair catching light instead of absorbing it. Now, before you get too comfortable thinking any layered cut will do, stay with me, because the very next thing I'm going to show you is a cut that looks almost identical to one of these on the surface, but is quietly working against you the entire time. Part 2. The fringe that actually works for you. There's one more cut I want to give you before we get into what to avoid, because it deserves its own moment. The curtain fringe. Most women over 60 either avoid fringes entirely because they think they're too young for them, or they get talked into a full blunt fringe that ends up aging them by 5 years overnight. Both of those instincts are wrong, and there's a very specific reason why. A curtain fringe is parted down the center and swept to either side, with the pieces landing softly past the temples rather than sitting in one straight line across the forehead. The phrase to use in the chair is curtain fringe, parted center, swept past the temples, no blunt line. That last part matters enormously. A blunt, straight across fringe draws a hard horizontal line right where you have the most visible forehead lines. It highlights exactly what you'd rather soften. A curtain fringe does the opposite. It frames the face in a soft diagonal instead of a flat line, and it draws the eye toward your cheekbones and eyes rather than straight across your forehead. Here's the part almost nobody tells you. A curtain fringe also does something for your eyes specifically. Because the pieces sweep to the side instead of sitting flat, they create a soft shadow and a soft frame right at the outer corner of the eye. which is exactly where fine lines tend to be most visible on a mature face. It's not covering anything up. It's redirecting where the eye naturally lands first, and it lands on the softness of the fringe before it lands on anything else. I had a woman write to me after trying this. She said her hairdresser had talked her out of a fringe for 15 years because it wouldn't suit her face shape. Turns out nobody had ever explained the curtain version to her stylist that way. She brought in that exact phrase, curtain fringe, parted center, swept past the temples, and her stylist's whole approach changed in the chair. She said it was the first time in over a decade someone asked to see a photo of her forehead before cutting anything, instead of just going in with the scissors. The snapback result here is real and it's fast. This isn't a cut that takes months to grow into looking right. Within one salon visit, the forehead lines that used to be the first thing people's eyes caught are now softened by movement, and the eyes become the focal point instead. That's the swap you're making. Attention off the forehead, onto the face. The before and after with a fringe is one of the most dramatic swaps on this entire list, because it changes the whole shape of how your face reads in a single photo. Before, a bare forehead with every line exposed and no framing. After, soft swept pieces doing quiet, constant work to soften and redirect. So that's your three: the layered lob, the soft shag, and the curtain fringe. But here's where it gets uncomfortable, because I'm about to show you a cut that a lot of you are wearing right now, convinced it's doing you a favor, and it's actually doing the exact opposite of everything we just covered. Part 3. The two cuts quietly working against you. Let's talk about the cut I see more than almost any other on women over 60, and the one that genuinely surprises people when I explain why it's a problem. The short, tightly cropped no-fuss pixie with no length variation anywhere in the shape. I want to be clear about something first. Pixies are not the problem. A well-cut pixie can be one of the most flattering things a mature woman can do. The problem is a very specific version of it. Cropped uniformly short all over, same length at the crown as at the nape, no layering variation. Chosen because it seemed like the easy option rather than because it was actually cut for her face. When every part of the hair is the same length, there's nothing to catch light, nothing to soften the transition from hair to skin, and the whole head reads as one flat, helmet-like shape. That flatness is what ages a pixie, not the shortness itself. The fix here isn't abandoning the pixie, it's asking for it correctly. The phrase you want is textured pixie with root lift at the crown and longer pieces through the fringe. Root lift at the crown means the stylist is building actual volume into the base of the cut, not just the top layer, so it doesn't fall flat by noon. Longer pieces through the fringe give you something soft to frame the face with, instead of the same short length marching straight across the forehead. This is the difference between a pixie that reads sharp and current, and one that reads like it was cut in 5 minutes because short is easy. Here's the part that really lands for people. A textured pixie with proper root lift changes your whole neckline too, because the crown has lift and the sides taper in with slight length variation. The eye travels down the neck in a soft line instead of stopping abruptly at a flat, blunt edge. That's a full silhouette change from one adjustment in the chair. Now let's talk about the second cut on the avoid list. And this one surprised even me when I first researched it. The heavily layered, feathered style from the 80s and 90s that's been quietly making a comeback, but wrong. I'm talking about hair with too many short, choppy layers stacked all over the top of the head, creating a rounded, poofy silhouette rather than a sleek one. The issue is that this style was originally built around big, teased volume that doesn't match how most of us wear our hair day to day now. Without that heavy styling behind it, those short choppy layers just stick out at odd angles and create width exactly where you don't want it. At the sides of the head, right at eye level. Width at that specific point makes the whole face look wider and unfortunately older. It's a proportion problem more than a length problem. The fix is to soften and lengthen those layers rather than removing volume altogether. In the chair, ask for long, soft layers blended through the sides, no short choppy pieces above the ear. This keeps the movement you liked about the original style, but redistributes it vertically instead of outward, so the fullness happens at the crown and lower, not directly at the widest point of your face. The snapback here is immediate in photos specifically. The sides of the face narrow visually the moment that width at ear level disappears. The before and after on this one is stark once you see it side by side. On one side, choppy stacked layers creating width right at the temples. On the other, long soft layers blended down and back, narrowing the whole silhouette. 2 down on the avoid list, 1 still to go. And this last one is the cut almost every woman over 60 has been told is the safe choice. I promise you it isn't. Part 4. The safe cut that isn't safe at all. Here's the cut I need to warn you about, because it's the one recommended more than any other to women over 60, and it's quietly the most aging of all 6 we've covered today. The short, blunt bob cut in one uniform length with no layering and a hard, straight edge along the bottom. I understand exactly why this cut gets recommended so often. It's low maintenance, it's tidy, it photographs as put together. But that hard, straight edge is doing something specific to your face that nobody mentions when they're recommending it. A single blunt line, cut at one length all the way around, creates a heavy, weighted bottom edge that pulls the eye downward and draws a stark horizontal line across the lower part of the face, right at jaw or chin level, which is exactly where a mature face is already softening naturally. Instead of working with that natural softening, the blunt bob fights it and makes the jawline look heavier and more defined than it actually is, in a way that reads as older rather than sharper. The fix isn't to abandon the bob, it's one specific adjustment, and it's the same principle we've come back to all through this video. Break the line. In the chair, say soften the perimeter with point cutting, no blunt edge at the ends. This takes that single hard line and turns it into a slightly irregular, textured edge instead, so it doesn't read as one continuous stroke across the jaw. The length can stay exactly the same. The shape can stay exactly the same. It's purely about how that bottom edge is finished. What changes is subtle in description but significant in a photograph. The jawline softens because the eye no longer catches one unbroken line running straight across it. Instead, the edge has small variations that mimic the way hair actually falls and moves, which reads as effortless rather than engineered. Women who make just this one change tell me people start commenting that their whole face looks more relaxed. And it's not because anything changed about their face. It's because the hard line that used to frame it in a rigid stripe is gone. Here's something I didn't expect to find when I was researching this. Of the 6 cuts in today's video, this swap, from blunt bob to point cut bob, is the one stylists report clients asking to repeat almost every single visit once they felt the difference once. It's not dramatic to look at in a still photo, but in motion, in conversation, in daylight through a window, the difference between a hard edge and a soft one is the difference between hair that looks styled at you and hair that looks like it's simply yours. The before and after here closes out everything we've covered today. On one side, the blunt, uniform bob with its hard straight edge, technically neat but quietly aging. On the other, that same length, that same shape, softened at the perimeter with point cutting, same haircut, entirely different feeling. And that's all 6. 3 cuts that genuinely work for you, and 3 that quietly don't, along with the exact phrases to bring into your next appointment, so you're not leaving it up to chance. You now know exactly what separates a cut that lifts your whole face from one that quietly weighs it down. And you have the precise words to bring into the chair so your stylist knows exactly what you're asking for, instead of guessing. That's not luck. That's you walking in prepared. Tell me in the comments. Which of these 6 were you actually wearing without realizing it? Next time, I'm breaking down the color mistakes that age women over 60 even faster than the wrong cut does. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.